We are here at the Greater New York Dental Meeting. It's Thanksgiving weekend in New York City, and there's nowhere we'd rather be than here on the show floor. This morning, we are at the Ultradent booth, and we are talking with Bill Polson, who's the brand manager for endodontics. Now, Bill, you guys are launching a new endo product, but obviously there are a lot of endophiles already on the market. You guys already have some endophiles, so what was the impetus behind creating this?
The vast majority of the market uses a rotary instrumentation system, and Ultradent uses a reciprocating contra angle, and that is true of our old file system, and we've carried that philosophy forward. But in other ways that we're differentiating ourselves is in hybridization. We're hybridizing with alloys and with instrumentation techniques.
Wonderful. Now, how does that hybridization kind of play out in the day-to-day use of the product? I mean, we hear about hybrids in cars, we hear about hybrids in dental instruments, but specifically in how it creates value for the dentist and for the patient in the long run, what does that look like?
The hybridization, as I mentioned, takes place on a couple of different facets. First of all, with the alloys. Historically, endodontic files were constructed of stainless steel, and then 10 or 15 years ago they started moving into a nickel titanium alloy. And that's where the majority of the market has moved, was into that nickel titanium. But what we've found is that both stainless steel and nickel titanium have properties that are beneficial during different steps of the procedure. So we've created instruments that best address the portion of the procedure that they're in. So we are hybridizing both stainless steel hand files with NiTi hand files, also stainless steel shaping files with nickel titanium transitional files.
Now, obviously, we've read about the product. It was in the most recent issue of DPR, and we've heard you talk about it. But there's a really big difference when you see it in action. And I know you have some demos prepared for us. So can you kind of take us through a visualization of what this product is capable of?
You bet. The first thing I'd like to demonstrate with the files is the ability of the nickel titanium transitional files to negotiate extreme curvature. You can see here that this nickel titanium transitional file is able to easily negotiate the curvature of the canal and reach right to the apex. So that's one of the real values of using hybrids. We use the stainless steel, the rigidity of the stainless steel to prep the upper middle third of the canal, and then the NiTi to negotiate those curves.
You were also pointing out earlier the difference between what a reciprocating file is able to do versus
the rotary. Yeah, right. That's what these teeth were instrumented using the TiLOS file system. And as you can see inside here, the instrumentation conforms to the natural anatomy of the natural curvature, or that elliptical shape of the canal that occurs naturally. Rotary instruments are not capable of doing that. They can only create circles. And in creating circles, you just don't conform to the natural anatomy of the canal. So that's one of the greatest features of using a reciprocating system.
Great. Now, obviously, there is a lot of technology that's gone into creating the files, but Ultradent has also tried to make it as easy as possible for the user to actually get things done. So tell me a little bit about how you've packaged the product for maximum convenience.
Okay, first of all, what we did is we wanted to expand the existing product line, because it was a toolkit that we created to address primarily the simpler cases that are done in the anterior teeth by general dentists. But we want to start including the endodontist in our products as well, so we've expanded the file toolbox, so to speak. We have everything from a number 8 all the way up to a number 80 hand file. We've also got the engine-driven stainless steel shaping files accompanied with the nickel titanium transitional files. But what we've done is we've taken the most common files used during the procedures and kitted them into convenient packages. The first that I'd like to show is the patient pack. And the patient pack contains a number 15 hand file for establishing patency, 3 stainless steel shaping files for cleaning up that upper middle third of the tooth, a number 20 hand file for addressing the critical zone, creating a glide path through that critical zone, and at that point you can safely go in and use your NiTi transitional files in that apical portion of the tooth. Some other features that we've added to these is that the lid detaches and then attaches to the base to create a very stable stand. It becomes a workstation for the files. And then we've also created a lid that dispenses additional endostops. So as you're using these files, if your endostops become worn out, then you can replace them quickly through the lid. And then one final feature of the packaging is that we've got a measuring device that allows you to easily set the working length of the file right from the packaging itself without having to turn to another measurement device.
Fantastic. Well, for more information on this and other Ultradent products, go to dentalproductsreport.com. Thanks, Phil.